Shalom, Mr. First and foremost, I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem HaKadosh. The born to the apostles, and else great millstone, full teachings, this true peace and blessings to the whole like of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Chibu. Ba'Shem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the Meon Son. Back on the lesson, as he was in the title, going to be going to our as in the days of Noah. As I see many people are in this playful, lollygagging, type of spirit, thinking everything's all fine and dandy, that everything is a joke and not to be taken serious, as you're going to see, for example, right here. You have people at this beach pretty much partying, living it up, not having a care in the world of what's getting ready to unfold and take place, especially with just, things that are happening right now. Their one resort is to make jokes, to laugh. Well, soon these tears of joy, these cries of laughter will be turned to tears of sorrow, man. So I'm going to play this real quick, see what these comments have to say. I didn't really check them. I believe I saved this video yesterday, so I thought I'd make a lesson, going into it. And get a couple scripts after that, just, further expound these points, further going to show the type of times that we were in.
Yo, this is honestly a perfect spot for Iran to just fucking blow our shit up. I know. Yo.
You see, it's a joke. People at the beach having a good time, so-called living it up, partying, not having a care in the world. While Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is getting ready to destroy this place. So you see many people there walking that same exact spirit, especially with Jake, the wicked of our people, are walking that same spirit as back then. Mocking, scoffing, not taking heed, not seeking the Lord, not repenting, not putting off the old man. They're not detaching from the place. Because really, Jake loves it here too. They want to stay there, especially people in these other Israelite camps that sold out, that took the bag. It's clear, it's evident that they want to stay within this place. But let's see what these comments say. So our society jokes way too much about the dumbest things, shows how privileged we are. It says, I know. And then you have people laughing in the comments. This is a joke to them. Hey, literal chaos. All hell's getting ready to break loose. And these people are just making jokes, laughing, living it up. So many people are coming the incorrect, wrong spirit. Once the Lord's getting ready to destroy this place, and that's what these people are doing and would rather do and would rather entertain. If really Jake wants to continue to live in La La Land, in Isaiah, I want to say 31st chapter, going how they rather live in their illusions. This false reality that everything's okay. But as we get into these scripts at hand, this is Matthew 24, 37 to 39, which is the main point. Because it's exactly what you see. As by the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Who is the Son of Man? Yahweh Shai. And for as in days that before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving marriage unto the day that Noah entered the ark. So they went on about the day. Living it up, partying, not having any care in the world. As we're going to further read, verse 39, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be, but this time it's not going to be by the way of water, but by the way of fire, and specifically thermonuclear fire. But you see, Jake are coming in that same spirit, disregarding the warnings, mocking, scoffing at the Lord's prophets, not taking heed, doing things that they want to do, but just party. And guess what? This truth, if it has nothing to do with that, then Jake wants no part of it. This is why you have Jake calling the prophets boring. Oh, y'all boring. You make the truth sound boring. Well, this ain't for you in the first place, man. And it's also speaking of these other Israelite camps that make this thing to be, what's what I'm looking for? Pretty much a light and, playful type of thing, for lack of a better word. Just going to find a, word to apply right there. But it's, pushing that point, Jake don't take this thing serious, But I'll read verse 38 one more time. For as in days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and gave marriage to the day that Noah entered the ark. So they were living it up. See Jake today, saying YOLO. You only live once. Stay here for a good time, not a long time. Hey, Jake is finished, man. Verse 39, I knew not until a flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man. Maybe it's really Jake doesn't get what's come to them. And how about Shemshai is ready to bring judgment upon this whole earth, upon its wicked inhabitants, especially to the 2/3 of our people, which again Zechariah 13:8. 2/3 can be cut off on this side, destroyed. So Jake's can be so-called blindsided, but not really, because Yahweh Shemshai set up prophets among you to warn you of these coming times, to blow that trumpet, so that you are made known and wary of the things to come. But you see, Jake's going to be unprepared. So I get in 2 Peter 3:10, Revelation 16, going to how the Lord comes as a thief in the night, unexpected. Because Jake's not preparing for Lord Yahweh's return. They're not seeking the Lord. They're not putting off the old man. They're not doing anything, to please Yahweh Shema Shai. Matter of fact, they're doing things to please themselves, to fill their own belly. And it's like a kind of, rambling right there. It's flowing to the Spirit. Proverbs 1:22. And it says, how long do you simple ones we love simplicity? Listen, Jake wants to live in this, false reality that everything's okay. Nothing's going to happen. And really, Jake's just coping. And the scorn's light and the scorning and fools hate knowledge. Turn ye at my reproof, behold, I'll pour my spirit. Unto you, I'll make no more words unto you. Because I've called and you refused, I've stretched out my hand and no man regards. See, many of our people are smacking away that hand. But you get when the scriptures they were to seek the Lord. Ecclesiastes 5:7, it says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord. That word tarrying goes into delay. So it says, make no delay to turn back to the Lord. That's why we're trying to push that spirit of urgency to seek Yahweh Shema Shai now. Because very soon, the Lord's going to take away this word, this truth, off the highways and byways, off the internet, to where you won't be able to obtain this truth, this word, this knowledge any longer. And that's what you see Jake doing now, mocking, scoffing, at the Lord's prophets, his men that he set up among you to warn you of these coming times. Jake is not, taking these things serious. They think it's a joke. They think it's never going to happen, that we're so-called crazy. But we're crazy until we're not. As you've been seeing with these so-called conspiracy theories are now becoming conspiracy facts. And the prophets, starting with the apostles and elders, have been, speaking on and going to these things, especially dealing with the list and all that type of stuff, the things that go on behind the scenes. This was nothing new. But to the people of this world, this was, surprising, a surprise Pikachu face. Once again, the truth can be revealed on all levels. And the prophets are at the forefront, bringing out this word, exposing who this devil is, teaching the true name of our power, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. And that's just a few things. Let's continue on. It's like kind of veering off topic. But it says, verse 25, but you have said that not all my counsel and wouldn't on my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear comes. So you could imagine what they were saying, doing back then. Banging on the door of the ark to get back to get on. I was just joking. Hey, don't we go way back? I didn't know. I was just playing this and that. It was going to be far too late for all that. Now, you wanted to mock and scoff then. You're going to get what's coming to you. As a matter of fact, the Lord's going to laugh at you. Because you see, many of our people today are mocking, scoffing, not taking heed, disregarding the warnings, giving the shrug of the shoulder, and going on about their day. But if this truth is not about partying and so-called living it up, doing whatever, then Jake wants no part. Because all Jake is worried about is partying and so-called living this YOLO and here for a good time, not a long time type of spirit. But if you come to the United States, Jake's going to be doing the same thing. Banging on the door to the spiritual shark, begging to get on. But as the Lord shut the door to the ark back then, he's doing the same thing today. And this is why we're trying to watch and push that spirit urgency to seek the Lord now. So reading verse 26 one more time. I also laugh at your calamity. I'll mock when your fear comes. So it doesn't laugh at you. The Lord doesn't have the last laugh. And as you can also get to today, the Lord don't play about his prophets. As then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. Verse 27. When your fear comes as desolation and destruction comes as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me. Now you want to seek the Lord? Now you want to get right? See, Jake only wants to seek out Yahweh Shema Shai when it benefits them. Nah. But it says, when distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. That's why you get within the scriptures to, seek the Lord. To turn back to Yahweh Shema Shai, to seek the Lord, to repent, to put off that old man. But see, when Jake is, hears that there's, do's and not to do's, that we can't partake in these pagan and wicked holidays, that we can't eat certain things, then, all of a sudden it's a problem. Jake wants to part. That's when Jake takes 10 steps. And it's going to show how simple and how destroyed our people are. When Jake is told we can't eat pork, crab legs, lobster tail. Jake all about the seafood boil. I don't know about that, man. But just show how simple Jake is, man. How through our people are. Jeremiah 4:2, Hosea 4:6. Our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. But it says, for they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They were in my counsel, despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit their own way and be filled with their own device. So it should be your own fault, man. Romans 12:2. And be not conformed to this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind through this truth, this knowledge, this understanding, through the Spirit, through the Ruach HaKodesh. As in, be not conformed to this world. See, Jake is attached. Jake is unwilling to let these things go on this side. Especially speaking of these Israelite camps that have took the bag or want to be so-called somebodies on this side. As you, for example, see with Gorilla Hebrew, he didn't change one bit. And now look at the things he's doing. Matter of fact, he's where he wants to be. Just a worldly ninja, man. As in, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's going to show these guys didn't change one bit, man. And coming to this truth, there are sacrifices and things that need to be done. Changes that need to be made. You can't just come to this truth being that same old wicked person that you once were. And it says that you may prove what is that good and accept the perfect will of the Most High. 1 John 2:15-17. And it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Especially coming to last days when all hell's getting ready to break loose, when chaos is getting ready to erupt. Those that have not detached from this place, it's going to hit them like a truck. It wasn't Jake isn't willing to let these things in this world behind. That's why you see Jake, ends up tripping when they don't have their phone for 5 minutes. And it's dealing with various, other things. When these, basic necessities are taken away, Jake starts flipping out. That's why you get in, Isaiah 10 and 20. Because very soon we're no longer be relying upon this stuff, but upon Yahweh Shema Shai. Of course, right now we have to adapt and, do things we got to do on this side. But very soon, once the devil mandates and push out this Karagman, this MOTB, that's when we'll take a full step back. and be fully plugged into the source, which is Yahweh Bashem El Shai. But since love not the world, neither things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Jake is attached. This is why you see once in, for example, going back to these Israelite camps. They're unwilling to let these things go on this side. That's why they're trying to make a rap career. Trying to make a community of Israelites only. It's just stupid. Does not say within the script the Lord's going to destroy this place, that Babylon the Great Decay America will never be inhabited again. But it's further going to show, hey, Jake loves it here. They don't want to leave these things behind once again. Just tying back to those points. Verse 16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. And really the Lord's making it clear, he's making it evident with who he is dealing with. And with who has this 100% truth. And I start with the apostles and elders down over that great millstone. This is Romans 8:6-10. Now it says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So we're to be, of a spiritual mind. And this is why you have Jake, operating the way they do. They're of a carnal mind, especially speaking of these worldly, Israelites. And that's why you say you have brothers, say they're a bunch of ninjas with fringes. Because they didn't really change, Listen, nuances. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High, which I don't know if I've read verse 7. But it's because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. So we're to be of a spiritual mind. But you see the way that our people are walking in this carnal mindset. Doing things to, please the flesh. See in the scripture, doing things to fill their own belly, their own lust, their own pleasures. That's all Jake's worried about, So you have Jake wanting to be, so-called somebody on this side. They're willing to wait upon Yahweh Bashem El Shai. But verse 9 says, but ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the Spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now if any man have not the Spirit of Mashiach, he is none of his. And you need, the Ruach HaKodesh in order to even be able to understand, these scriptures, this word. To even have this truth, the Lord has to be dealing with you, man. And further going to show us how blessed, we are to be called to this thing. Now it says, if Mashiach be in you, the body is dead, but is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness. But just to further, especially, tie that into this lesson, dealing with the title of lesson, how we're as in the days of Noah. See, the people of this world are operating, within a carnal mind, doing things to please the flesh, continuing to partake and do things, that is of the world, dealing with these heathen customs, these pagan holidays, partying, so-called living up, while Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai is getting ready to, wipe this place off the map. And you're about to see an increase and influx of plagues, pestilences. All hell's getting ready to break loose, man. And what do you see the wicked wild people doing? And you saw within, that video is one example. People at a beach while you have this, literal war taking place. Would even be another stepping stone towards, World War III. But all, the only thing that is on Jake's mind is partying, drinking, smoking, living it up, YOLO. When he's going to that as in the day of Noah, type of spirit. Which you especially see the wicked of our people walking in. It's Micah 2:10, and it says, "Arise and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction." And a good example is the two-thirds of our people. Look at how far gone Jake is, man. But as you can clearly see, this is not our rest. It is not our rulership. It's not our kingdom. And yet you still have many of our people want to reside within this place, because once again, Jake loves it here. They don't want to leave these things behind. We read in previous scripture says to love, not the world. And these are things that are in it. We see Jake is unwilling to let those things go. That's why you see, Jake doing what they're doing now. And when it comes to this truth, and Jake hears, particular things, that they want to take a step back. They go into their do's and not the do's when you come into this thing. And when Jake hears you can't eat certain things, you can't partake nor do certain things, especially when it comes to lineups, dealing with your hair. I gotta look fresh, man. I don't know about that. Hey, Jake is carnal, man. But that's the point. It's like we're kind of veer off topic on certain points, just flow into spirit there. But the Lord's why ultimately tied it together, dealing with how we're as in the days of Noah. You saw in that video how they're at a beach, and you saw the joke that was made. Also, would be a perfect spot for Iran to take us all out. So you see the type of spirit that these people are coming in, man. And the Lord is getting ready to destroy this place, and this is what they are doing and would rather do. They want to go into the as in days of Noah's spirit. Partying, so-called living while the Lord was getting ready to destroy this place. So that's the point. Those of us edifying, you close out, give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Shah, Bashem, Dash,